Hey, welcome to another update on Archmage Rises, the greatest role-playing game that will ever be made. And I am Thomas, and I am the only guy who's crazy enough in order to build this thing. And joining me this week is the greatest Dutchman in the history of the Netherlands, Timo.
Hi.
Timo's been with us before, and I had a scheduling conflict with Nick. Nick wanted to be here, but I have a sleep test that I had to do. I had to go to a sleep clinic, and they put like all these things on you and whatever, and I had to do that last night. And Nick had to work today during the day. Today's Saturday, and he had to work today because he's working on a game for his company, and he had to do some work on Nintendo stuff. So I think he might be porting it to Switch or something like that. And so we just couldn't figure it out. But happy that Timo can jump in here and fill in for Nick here. The other thing I'll say is I was with Nick last week, and the reason I was is because I went to the CGDC, which is a conference in Portland, and that's how I met Nick, because this conference takes place in his hometown, and I think it was 4 years ago or so that we happened to sit beside each other at lunch after we went and got our lunch from the buffet, and we started chatting, and then that turned out into him helping on Archmage, and then I hired him to help on Archmage. So the moral of the story is go to cons. That's the lesson here. Anyways, it was cool to be hanging out with Nick, and just a quick update on him for those that are interested, which is probably only one or two people. So Nick, after he finished working with me on Archmage, went and worked with another friend on a game called Seed, and they showed it at PAX, and it's a pretty fun demo, and the game involves combat farming, and I just think that's a great term, combat farming. And so he worked on that for a couple months, and then he landed a job at a company in Portland where he lives, and he's working on a couple of games for like a big distributor that owns several IPs, and then they've told this studio like, hey, make us 3 games. And so he's been working on like a temporary basis with them, like they're like trying him out and stuff. And just this past week, actually I think it was on Monday of this week, they've offered him a full-time gig. So now he's like permanently working at that studio. So he's landed on his feet, and that's good. Isn't that nice?
That's great. Yeah.
Yay for Nick. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the game this week. So what I'm going to show you is a demo that I put together for the CGDC, and gave this demo. And there was like 5 or 6 people that I know that weren't able to be at that exact demo time. And so then they said, would you be able to demo it again? And so I managed to get some screen time, and I was able to demo it again. And so I just went and kind of tapped those people on the shoulder and said, hey, I'm gonna do the demo right now and stuff. They're like, oh, okay. So they came over. And then what was really weird was that, like, as I started doing the demo, like 50 more people showed up and just gathered around, and some of them were even in the first demo. So either this demo sucks and they wanted to see it for a second time and go, what is this guy doing? Or it was so impressive that they wanted to see it again. So anyways, I hope it's that. And just in terms of project update, I've been saying for a while, I've been working on Build 11, and there's like 3 big things that I need to do to make Build 11 good. And I finished the first 2, and the third one I was just about to start, but then I took a week to go and build these features that are in this demo, which have to do with crime and punishment, and how that works with interacting with the world. And so I was able to do that, and then now I'm working on the third and final big piece of the game. And if you go and look at the Steam forum for where it lists out like all the outstanding work that needs to be done on Build 11, I've split that up now into big things and little things, and you'll see most of the big things are crossed off, except for the one I'm working on right now, which is dynamic quests and finishing the life aspirations. And then you'll see a whole bunch of little things, and so this thing I'm showing is kind of in between. It's a small thing and a big thing that I needed to get working, and so anyways, it's crossed off the list, and you can see that. But anyway, are you ready to see the game?
Yes, definitely. I'm excited. Crime and punishment.
Yeah. Hey, here we go.
Hey, a wall.
Okay, so the part that I've been working on is entering and exiting of towns. And so here we see a town that has walls around it. So if a town has walls, now important things can happen. If a town doesn't have any walls, you can just come and go as you please, and it behaves the way that it's always behaved if you've played the pre-alpha. And so this is something that I've wanted to get in for a very long time, and now it's finally in, and it makes me feel happy, and now I can go and work on other things. Okay, so here we are at a town, and there's a couple of new things going on here. So obviously you can see the walls because it's a walled town. And the reason that I have this is that you're not allowed to cast magic inside of a town that like breaks the rules of the lore and is also a crime, and then bad things and stuff will happen to you. So this is kind of like your last chance to cast spells before you go into the town. There's a couple of options here. There's enter the town, bribe a guard, sneak in, or just leave. And up here you have your reputation, and your reputation in the world is by town, so how they feel about you, and so the way that everyone in the world feels about you is an average across all the towns. And then you have a wanted level, which is based on crimes that you commit that other people see. So my wanted level is currently 0, and so I'm going to just walk into the town. When I enter a town, there is a gate toll, and that's because this is a true medieval simulator, and that's one of the ways that towns would fund themselves and pay for the walls and the upkeep and the guards and all that stuff. So if you go through the gate, you have to pay a small toll. In this case, it's only 5 gold. And the gate toll is based on who you are and also the amount of stuff that you have. So if you have a number of carts of stuff, like a big caravan filled of stuff, they're going to charge you a percentage of that as a tax in order to enter in. They don't actually tax what happens within the marketplace, but they tax things that come in, and you're allowed to leave for free. So if I didn't want to do that, then I can maybe bribe a guard. And here it shows that the officer that's on duty. Oh, so the reason that I'm showing this today is because this is a whole bunch of systems that are built into this game that I've been talking about and promising that are actually working and making all of what I'm about to show you real and work. And so one of the things is people have jobs, and when they have jobs, one of them is being a guard, and one of the guards each day is assigned to guarding the gate. So here we see Rohisia Birkenbeck is responsible for the gate today. Now, this is a real person that lives in this town. They wake up in the morning and they go to work and they end work and all that. And I can actually befriend that person just through the normal interfaces, like telling them jokes, hanging out with them at the inn and drinking beer and whatever. So if I invest in those relationships, then bribing the guard becomes a lot cheaper, for instance. And so that's a lot of systems that are working. So just for this person to have their job and actually be working at it is kind of a big deal. If I was to sneak in, there's 2 ways that I can sneak in. I can, I'll go over that in a second. I'm just going to walk into the town. Okay, here we go. We're in the town. Okay, so I paid my 5 gold and now I'm into the town. And so one of the new features is you can't just leave and go wherever you want. So if I click to go here, it says you must safely leave walled towns before traveling. So that forces you to get out of the town correctly. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go commit some crimes, and there's oh, look, his face is all messed up. There we go. And there ain't no crime like murder. So let's just go murder this guy, and he runs the inn. So I'm going to go and attack him. And so what this does is I'm attacking this innkeeper, and we've taken it outside. So now we're outside of the inn, and I'm going to blast him with my big old magic spells, crank it up to maximum power, and say, I don't like your haircut, you die. Okay, now you see at the bottom it says wanted level increased by 40%. So the criminal code of this town is murder, increases your wanted level by 40%. That's the way that I show how wanted you are. I don't use a 5-star system like Grand Theft Auto, because I think it's better to show a percentage of how likely you are to get caught by guards. So the higher your wanted level, the more that the guards are going to be looking for you. And one of the reasons a long time ago that we switched to hourly turns for all the NPCs is for this exact moment. You go, you murdered somebody, and now I need to get out of the town because they're actively looking for me. So every hour I spend in the town is a chance that the guards can find me. And so I'm going to sneak out of the town, and I can sneak out through the front gate, or I can climb over the wall. And actually, I'm gonna just try and walk out because I don't think those are gonna work. Okay, I just walked out. So now I'm outside of the town, and I think that's because I haven't yet put in the checking you as you leave. Right now it only checks you on the way in. Okay, so now if I want to go into this town, if I just walk through the gate, there's a 40% chance that they're going to spot me and bad things are going to happen. Okay, so here on the tooltip it's saying you have 40% guard encounter chance. So what I'm going to try and do is sneak into the town. So I have two options. One is to sneak in through the front gate. That's like a stealth disguise kind of check. And so it shows me what my success and failure are of that. And then the other option is to go over the wall. So if I have spells like fly or levitate or something like that, that gives me a huge boost to any kind of climb. And so this is an example of spells being used outside of combat in order to do valuable things. So if I was to cast invisibility on myself, then I could just walk through the front gate. If I was to cast fly, then I can go over the wall. Now, something else that I think is pretty cool is if I wait until nightfall, because really, if you're going to sneak into a town, you would want to wait until it's nightfall, right? You see here that this option has changed. I can't just walk in anymore because the town gate's closed, because why would they let people in at night? That doesn't make sense. So I have an option here, just click it and then I wait until it's open. But if I'm going to sneak in and I go to climb over the wall, you see I now get a bonus of +4 to climbing over the wall for cover of darkness. So we're going to try that. Are you ready, Timo? Are you ready?
Yep.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
And I'm still waiting on some artwork. Okay, I failed. So the difficulty was 20, I only rolled a 10, and with my modifier cover at night, I only got 14. So I failed. So what that means is I get an encounter with the guards. So the guards, so here's the officer, Rohicia. She was in charge of the gate, and 3 other guards come rushing up towards me. Now, this is all driven by the economy of the town. They've recruited that many guards that happen to be there. Other towns, may only have 1 or 2. Second thing is, if I was to kill the guards, then there wouldn't be any guards. And if there's no guards, then you can just come and go as you please until they recruit new guards. So I have 2 options here. I can fight it out, or I can serve time. So I'm going to choose to fight it out. And so here we are outside, and I'm fighting the guards. And that's pretty much where the demo ends. I could fight these guards, and actually, if I just blast them right now, you'll see my wanted level goes up.
Yeah.
Huh. My wanted level didn't go up. Okay, there's something wrong there. Anyways, it should.
Okay. Maybe at the end of the fight, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
There. Actually, let's see what happens if I finish this combat.
Zap everyone.
Okay, he's stabbing me. Okay, I won. Hey.
Hey.
So my wanted level went up. It should have gone up because of the guards. Anyways, I'll fix that.
Yeah.
But the reason it went up another 20% is because they caught me trying to climb over the wall. And so that's a crime. And so there's a whole bunch of systems in here of people hourly looking to see what's going on. If they see you doing something like that, then the wanted level goes up. And then when the wanted level makes some rolls, and then the guards encounter you. And so that's how it all works.
Yeah. And if you perform a crime and no one sees it?
Yeah, then your wanted level does not go up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're going to commit a crime...
you mentioned that in this town there was a 40% for murder. Is that something that might differ per town?
Yes, it will. It won't for build 11 because
Yeah.
I have to stop working on build 11 at some point. So all the towns will be the same, but it's coded in such a way that each town can have basically their own criminal code, to say this is illegal and this is the percentage that it goes up. Okay, so I wonder if the guards are dead. Anyway, so another option here is to turn yourself in. It didn't record the guards dying. Okay, there's some kind of thing there. But anyways, it would.
Yeah.
So the other option is you can pay off your bounty. I don't have enough money, so I can't pay it off. Or you could serve the time. And so I just put in the ability to serve your time. So let's serve my time. So now I'm in prison. There's supposed to be a nice picture here, but I didn't get that in. And so it shows that your sentence is remaining. I have 12 months. And so each time I click this, a month of time goes by. And so it's going and doing the simulation behind the scenes. And wow, it's taking absolutely forever. Well, that's because I did this demo a week ago, and then I've worked on the game since, and clearly I've made it worse. So, anyways, we can stop this demo now because it's hung up. I've been working on the monsters and stuff, and so I think the monsters are taking up too much time right now.
Too much time to process, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm right in the early stages of it, so it's slowing it down. But anyway.
Yeah, but the jail sentences are pretty significant because you only have like your allotted span of time in the world, and the world continues while you're gone.
Exactly. I haven't yet figured out what I should do for like bills that you have to pay and stuff. Like, so when you get your mage tower and you get some land, then the noble is like, okay, here's your land, and you have to pay me, say, 1,000 gold each year for taxes. Okay, so what happens if you're in jail and you can't pay those taxes? Like you don't have the money, or you have the money on you, but it doesn't actually go to him. I don't know what all that means.
Maybe your wanted level goes up.
Yeah, it does. Not paying your debts is another way that increases your wanted level. So that's the demo, and that's what I've been working on, and that's the system's kind of working.
Yeah, it looks great. It's really neat to see that all the different systems and layers are starting to interact and giving you all these options and having actual consequences. Well,
thanks. That's what I've been working on for a long time. And, back in kind of December of last year, I thought I was real close to getting all those systems working, but I didn't. I've had to rewrite the job system. I had to rewrite how people have hourly turns. I had to create this criminal system, this whole town, entering and exiting of the town. It's just like so many things in order to get that one experience to work correctly. And so the nice thing is that now that these systems are working, I can create more and more of those interesting experiences. I mean, hopefully this looked interesting.
Yeah, and probably to those other 50 people at the demo too.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why they came a second time.
Yeah.
I think that's it for this week. I don't know if you have any other questions or comments on what you said.
No, great. Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, cool.
Any estimates on Build 11 or?
Yeah, so now's the time where I lie about Build 11. And so I'm working on the monster stuff, and my Unity is totally there's an infinite loop. That's why it broke up. And actually, I could show you the thing I've been working on, the monsters. Would you like to see the monster thing I've been working on?
I would love to see the monster thing you've been working on.
Oh, well, that's the right answer. See, isn't Timo a great guest to have, everybody? Okay, so here we are back in the game, and you see this town doesn't have walls. So that's something that the mayor can do, is like building walls as they get their money and stuff. So I can just leave. Even if I'm like in the inn, I can just whip out the map and just go somewhere. And then I just start going. See?
And it started raining.
Yeah, and then it started raining on me, and that's no good. Okay, so what I've been working on, you can see right over here. So this green area is highlighted just for me. You won't see that in the game. To say that there's a layer around here, and this is the territory of the layer. So there's a goblin layer around here. And if you can see, it's very small because they're small icons. There's a goblin icon right there. Can you see it there? Right.
It's very small, but yes.
It's very small. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what's happening. up until this point, I've been kind of abstracting and simulating the behavior of the layers. So the layer drops down, it has some territory. You can see the territory overlaps with the town here, Selmerloros. And here is a guy who's, I guess, a woodcutter or something, and here is a guy who is a farmer, and he's going out to his pasture and stuff. And so you see those things overlap. And so what happens is it makes a roll to see, like, hey, he's doing his job. Does he encounter any goblins? And so in the very center of the territory of the goblins, as there's a really high percentage of encountering goblins, and then the ring just outside of that, there's like a medium level, and then far out, there's like a small chance. But the problem that I'm having with that, I'm having a bunch of problems with that. One of them is that when you have a very small chance of something happening, but it happens all the time, like the guy goes to work and then he goes home, and then he goes to work again, and then he goes home, and then he goes to work. So even if it's like a tiny chance, like 1 in 1,000, when he keeps doing it, eventually it's 100% certainty that something's going to happen. And so I didn't like that. It was very difficult to control in terms of game balance, no matter how small you make the numbers. But it just didn't feel quite right. And so, like I said, there were other problems that I won't go into. And what I really wanted to do was have these things called monster patrols. And so I remember playing like Ultima 4, and I would go exploring across the map. I would just like go north, 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 and all of a sudden I see these headless guys, right? And there's just like this red animation of these headless guys. And I'm like, oh crap, there's headless here. And then I would like make a move, and then they would make a move towards me, and then we would like be running around the map, and I'd be trying to avoid them, and eventually they would give up, or they would just keep heat seeking me until they got me into combat. And I just want to recreate that kind of a feeling. And having this percentage across the territory just didn't do that. I wanted to actually see something on the map. And so that's what I've been working on. And so monsters, when they have a lair, they have a chieftain that's in the lair, and they also have a population in the lair of like a bunch of dudes. And dudettes that live in the lair. And then they basically reproduce and make babies, and this is true for spiders and for wolves and for goblins. And so they grow over time. And as they grow over time, they will recruit military units, kind of like ants, right? Ants have like a whole bunch that are inside, and then have the ants that actually go outside. So same thing, they will recruit units. And those are the units that you will find when you go into their lair. So when you go into a dungeon and you encounter some goblins and you fight them, that's because those goblins actually exist. And once you kill them, then those units are gone, and that lair is now weaker. And so you can wipe out a lair by wiping out all the goblins or whatever that are inside that lair. But the second thing is they'll send some guys and go walking around. And that's what I've been working on. And so if I pass time here, you will see that goblin guy is standing there, and he's now he's moving around. So when he moves around, when he enters into a hex and there's an NPC in that hex, they'll have an encounter, like something will happen. If the player moves into that hex, or they move into the same hex as the player, an encounter will happen. And so I like that you can see exactly what's going to happen, right? You can like run away from seeing it. So he goes to a hex and he does whatever it is the goblins do in that hex, and now he's going to a different hex and he's doing whatever goblins do there, and now he's going to a third hex. Oh, he went home. The reason he's not there anymore is because he went inside the lair, and so when they're inside the lair you can't see them anymore. And so now if I pass a whole bunch of time, you won't see anything anymore, and that's because they go out on kind of a weekly or so basis. Oh, there he's back now. Enough time has passed that they've decided to put together another patrol and have sent patrol out, and so he's wandering around in the goblin territory. So anyways, it was a bunch of work in order to get that working right now, and I used the same code that I used for the NPCs using the AI task system. And so what's great about that is I have this foundation of being able to give tasks, and so with the goblin I'm like, hey, here's a task. Choose this location, go and do goblin stuff there, and it all just magically works. Oh, no, he's really traveling. Look, he's outside his territory.
Do you want to do away with the sphere of influence thing completely then? And then it basically becomes an implicit thing, like the sphere of influence is where there's goblins walking around?
Yes, that's exactly it. So Different layers with different races inside them will have like a different kind of travel distance that they will go. Like, I don't know, maybe spiders stay like very close and goblins wander very far or something like that. So, this whole idea of having like a radius around the thing will go away, and there'll simply be maybe 3 patrols that just kind of walk around within a certain radius. And so it solves a lot of problems for me. Like when I was doing the percentage system, okay, so the town is on top of the layer. So eventually they roll something. Oh, we have an encounter with goblins. Like how many goblins and which goblins, right? If there's 6 goblins in the layer, which goblins are actually a part of it? So making up these patrols and assigning units to the patrols. Now I know it's these 3 goblins, not those 3 goblins. So if you encounter a warrior and a caster, that's because a warrior and a caster were put together into that patrol and like went off patrolling. And to me, it feels much more like, you know, D&D 2nd edition, where you would go to some camp or something like that, and you would see patrols like moving around on the camp, and you would like try to figure out how do I get around the patrols, or you would keep attacking the patrols to weaken the camp before you finally went in. So all those things become available now because of this patrol system.
Yeah, and it's become more realistic.
I think so.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, there, you got 2 updates for 1 update. There's great value here on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, I do not have anything else to show because we just got exactly to the last thing that I coded before we started shooting the video. And so I'm going to keep working on this. So the interaction of the monsters with the NPCs, interaction of the monsters with the player, and the dungeons, like the player encountering these monsters inside the dungeon. Like the monsters have to move around, like inside the dungeon. Right now they're totally static as to where they appear, and so with the hourly turns, it enables me to have them like move around. So you think you're safe, and then goblins ambush you. I think that's a cool thing. So those are all the things that I'm working on, and when that is all working and happy and nice, then Build 11 will be ready to ship. And you asked me a little while ago, when do I think that's going to be? I don't know. I just got to the beginning of this stuff, but I don't know. I'll just say 2 weeks. I think I'm going to be working on this for 2 weeks. And I think it was a month ago I said 2 weeks, so I'll just stick with that answer. I think I'll do
2 weeks in December, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I will keep people updated on the Steam forums and such, and then I'll show you my progress at the next video update. So thanks, Timo, for being here. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye.